Here's a good question. Is it possible to only use social media and nothing else to market your business? Can those with small marketing budgets compete with the big dogs in their niche? Our next speaker, Leslie McLellan, is the Director of Marketing and Tourism for Lake Arrowhead, California, and she has some answers to those questions. Leslie has spent nearly 3 decades marketing small businesses and tourism entities. Her specialty is helping those with very little marketing resources excel and be competitive with those that have much larger budgets. In addition to being the marketing director for Lake Arrowhead, Leslie is a partner in All Things Social Online, a boutique web and social media marketing agency, and offers small budget marketing insights and tips on her blog, Just a Small Town Girl. Leslie McLellan.
Okay, so who out there's won the lottery? Raise your hand. Well, you know what? I haven't won the lottery either. But I feel like I have won the lottery with social media. When social media is done properly, and you don't take any shortcuts, and you lay the groundwork, social media can be like gold to you. And I'm going to tell you how I successfully marketed a small Southern California resort destination, Lake Arrowhead, California, for 24 months, not spending a single dime on paid advertising and only using social media and primarily using Twitter. And it's been quite a run, and I'm happy that I can share it with you today. First, I'd like to tell you, though, a little bit about Lake Arrowhead and take notes because there'll be a test on this at the end. We're unincorporated. We are not a city. We are just a small town. And so that means that our marketing department, and you're looking at it, it's a department of 1, is funded by San Bernardino County and a grant that they give us based on the transient occupancy tax collected in our area. And we give them $700,000 or $800,000 a year, and we get back about $100,000 to run visitor centers and do promotion and that sort of thing. So we are also known for our great events. Now, let's jump back a little bit to 2008, the fall of 2008. And the economy was tanking. We were losing chamber members right and left. Businesses were closing. And all of a sudden, every last one of the sponsors for all of our Lake Arrowhead events went away. Sponsorship dollars dried up. So I had to make the decision in Lake Arrowhead to what should I do, first of all? And I decided that I was going to take what little marketing dollars we have, and I'm not talking about the $100,000, I'm talking about $15,000 or so, and I put those towards keeping the events that we had on the books going, because I felt that it was more important to give people a reason to come to the community than it was to be out there saying, just come to Lake Arrowhead, and then they would have nothing to do. So what that meant was that my only option as far as promoting Lake Arrowhead was social media. Now, Twitter and Facebook, all that stuff had been on my radar, but that's about as far as it had gotten. It was only on my radar. I hadn't done anything about it. So in October of 2008, I decided to immerse myself for 6 months. And don't do it that way. You really don't. You should just jump right in. But I immersed myself for 6 months in social media, studying almost every waking moment, the hows, the whys, the whats. I was making connections, but not posting anything. Because I thought that in April of 2009, we have a very successful film festival in Lake Arrowhead. And I thought, that's going to be our jumping off spot. That's how we're going to enter the world of social media. So when April came around, I was pretty prepared. I mean, I knew what we had to do. And I rounded up 4 of my friends who were also attending the film festival. And I said, okay, guys, get Twitter accounts, and we are going to tweet the heck out of this film festival. And that's exactly what we did. Now, it didn't bring anybody new to the film festival, but what it did was it allowed the film festival to live on virtually for about 3 weeks after the event. And that had never happened before. Usually the day the event was over, everybody went home and we were, done. So we thought that was a pretty good, starting point. And then the next month, in May, we have a summer concert series that starts. And I thought, well, okay, we're going to just be promoting, primarily tweeting events. Now, we were Facebooking them too, but we were really working hard on Twitter. And I went to the the MC of the film festival, and I said, okay, or of the summer concert series, and I said, okay, every time you're up on that stage introducing a band or at the breaks or whatever, please say the following thing. And it was, if you are on Twitter and you're sitting out there, here's the please use the hashtag, you know, the number sign, Lake Arrowhead, and tweet about our summer concert festival. Well, you know, the MC thought I was crazy. He hadn't heard any of this. He was like, tweet what? Hash what? He had no idea what was going on, but he said it. And I had an account with TweetDeck and just a column just for Lake Arrowhead, and I could follow who was saying what about our summer concert series regarding Lake Arrowhead. So for about 6 weeks or so, we were getting little bits and pieces, people using our hashtag, talking about it, and then 4th of July hit. And this was a real turning point, 4th of July, 2009. That 3-day period, I was able to watch, via TweetDeck again, over 15,000 people had the opportunity to read what was happening at Lake Arrowhead for the 4th of July weekend through people's tweets and retweets. And Lake Arrowhead kind of went viral because we do have a pretty, you know, fun 4th of July weekend with fireworks over the lake, but, you know, not different than any other community, but it really went crazy over that 3-day period. So for the rest of the summer, our village was packed. People were tweeting right and left about Lake Arrowhead. Our summer concert series, we didn't even have standing room anymore. It just was crazy how this really took off, all via social media. So then the fall came. And we were still busy. We have Oktoberfest, other events, everything was fine. But I started to panic because I had sold our community, you know, it could have been a bill of goods about social media and how it was going to help us. I had gotten businesses to, you know, buy into the whole philosophy and whatnot, and I thought, you know, while we have been crowded, my grant is based on the overnight stays that, you know, we supposedly were to have generated through social media. And being unincorporated, I don't know if people are staying overnight. We don't track that sort of thing. So anyway, in November of 2009, we got the word from the county that not only had we done well with social media, but our bed tax collected exceeded any other year that we had ever collected bed tax. You know, that was, you know, for the last 100 years or 50 years. It was incredible that social media actually did pay off. And again, we didn't spend one dime on anything. We only spent our time on social media. So because of that, I started a blog called Just a Small Town Girl, because I live in just a small town. And I thought people might want to hear how you can market with no money, and maybe, you know, that might be kind of nifty. And the first blog post I ever wrote was, social media is like winning the lottery. So then December came, and here's a bad thing. The economy was still really awful. We were still losing members. Businesses couldn't all stay afloat. And my board of directors said to me, gee, Leslie, you did such a good job marketing with no money in 2009. Guess what? You're going to have to do it again in 2010. And I was slightly devastated. I would have liked to have been able to have a well-rounded media or marketing campaign, but that wasn't to be in 2010. So I was able to hire an intern from one of our local colleges, and he worked for Just Credits, and he helped a lot. He would post things for me and whatnot. So in 2010, I used him quite a bit, and that was really helpful, and I suggest any of you who can hire interns. It's a great way to get things done. But then in February of 2010, Social Media Examiner called me. Now, how many of you follow Social Media Examiner out there? Okay, everybody should have their hands up. You need to follow Social Media Examiner if you are a small business and you're involved in social media. They are like the end-all to social media and learning. You'll learn so much from them. Anyway, a writer from there called me and said that the head guy, Mike Stelzner, had read my blog. And he was amazed, I guess, that Lake Arrowhead was one of the first places that could actually prove a return on investment for social media marketing. And they wanted to know if they could do a story on what I had done there and Lake Arrowhead. And I said, oh yeah, that's fabulous, that's free publicity, that's great. So in the meantime, we continued along with all of our social media marketing, and you know, our film festival that year was the biggest that we had ever had. People tweeted, we ran a Twitter contest from it. It was really off the charts as far as viral goes. And then in May of 2010, the Social Media Examiner story came out. And not only did that do wonders for Lake Arrowhead publicity, but I wasn't ready for what it did for me personally too, because all of a sudden I got contacted from all over the world, people wanting help with small town, small business, whatever, marketing with no money. Anybody who had no money was contacting me about marketing. So that was pretty fun. You know, that's neat. With it. So this year, everything looks rosy. We've got a great concert series. Our film festival sold out. I've started my own business for this small business marketing. And the moral of my talk is, social media, when understood and used wisely, will make all the difference in your marketing efforts. You know, it doesn't take a lot of money, but it takes a lot of time. But the payoff, in my mind, is about equivalent to winning the lottery. And while I'm not changing the world with my social media posts, I am changing communities. I'm helping small businesses. It's paid off both professionally and personally for me. And you know, who could ask for anything more? Thank you very much.